Hi and welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. And this is my 2024 trunk show of 10 quilts that I have completed this year. Even though I've completed them, most of these were started a while ago. I just got around to getting the binding on them. So we'll go through and take a look at them. There are 10 quilts. The first 3 I am keeping for different reasons that I have, but quilts 4 through 10, there's a possibility you could win. I'm going to give a quilt away to one winner, and the winner will have their choice of quilts 4 through 10, and you'll have to watch my weekly update that comes out this Sunday, so it'll be the weekly update 65 to enter to win, to find out all the details how to do that. Okay, so let's get started. So this first quilt is a quilt from Lori Holt's Vintage Christmas book. Now this quilt did take me a couple years to finish, but you know, I got it done this year. Well, I kind of finished the top last year and then I got it quilted and the binding this year. Around the binding it does have the what Lori Holt refers to as the vintage trim, but it's just a large rickrack. It was quilted with a hat, mittens, and stockings pantograph. Also, there's a pillow there that was cross-stitch. I don't know if that cross-stitch from Lori Holt was meant to go with this vintage Christmas, but it's kind of a little bit of the same things that are in the blocks. So I finished it with the fabric that was left over from the quilt and kind of put it together. Now we'll flip it over and take a look at the back. Now the backing is just a scrapping backing where I used all the leftover fabric from the front and put it together for the back. Let's flip it over and we'll take a look at that and the label. And here is a look at the back. Like I said, I just did a scrappy binding and used the fabrics from the front to the back. And I do have a quilt block there, just because it was an extra one that I had made along the way, so I threw it in the back. The quilt label isn't visible. Let me see if I can pull that up. And there's my quilt label down there in the corner. Now that Lori Holt Vintage Christmas quilt, it did measure 66 by 72. Now this is quilt number 2. And this is a quilt pattern called Diamonds Jubilee by Nancy Smith. This is 105 by 105, and it's a Bargello. Bargellos are some of my favorite quilts to do. And I did quilt this with a Whipsy pantograph. And I'll take a look at the back. And that's just a quick look at the back, and my label is in the corner there. I didn't want to flip the whole quilt over just because this is a pretty big quilt. Okay, let's go to number 3. And this is quilt number 3, and this is How Does Your Garden Grow? And this is a Crab Apple Hill Studio pattern from May Calky, and this is 52 by 52. Now that is hand embroidery on it, and it says Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? This is one that is mine, and especially since it has Mary, Mary on it, since Mary's my first name. It was quilted with a Petalism pantograph. And we'll flip it over and take a look at that back. And it does have a floral backing on it. Okay, now like I said, those first 3 quilts are mine for keeping for different purposes. Now that we're going to move on to quilts 4 through 10, those are the ones that the winner of my giveaway can have their choice to pick out. So let's go to 4. And this is quilt number 4. This was made with a layer cake, I believe. Well, I know. And it might have been more than one layer cake. I don't remember exactly, but I did know it involved a layer cake. And the name of the pattern is called Country Roads, and it's from Meg's Choice Patterns. And this is 76 by 90 and a half. And it was quilted with a paisley pantograph, because the border fabric and some of the fabric in it has paisleys. So let's take a look at the back. So I just flipped a corner up there to take a look at the backing that was used and the labels down there in the corner. And this is number 5, and this pattern was the Personal Library Quilt by Crimson Tate. It is 75 by 88, and those were all just fabrics from stash or scrap fabrics. It has a pantograph on it that is books and like eyeglasses all over it. We'll take a look at the back here. And there is a look at the back. The back has on it what looks like a collage of like newspaper print and some florals. And my label is there in the corner. For my giveaway, you will have to be 18 or over, and I can only ship to the US. But be sure to check out my weekly updates on Sunday to enter. Okay, let's move on to 6. And this is number 6, and this is the Dresden coin quilt. This is a tutorial from Missouri Star. It is 62 by 87, and it was quilted with a paisley pantograph, just because there's some paisleys in some of those prints. I'll flip it over and take a look at the back. And I just flipped a corner over so you could see the backing, and then my label is in the corner, and it just has my name and year on it. And this is number 7. And this is 64 by 74. Now the name of this pattern I do not know. I know it came from a quilt magazine, and I quilted it with a floral pantograph, and the label on this one I did kind of put on sideways, but you can still use it as a quilt. It's just the label, it's not in the right direction, but that's okay. We'll flip it over and take a look at it. And there's a look at the back. It is quilted with a floral pantograph. And like I said, the label is just going side to side, oriented side to side instead of up and down. But I still think it's a beautiful quilt. Okay, let's move to number 8. And this is number 8. It's July 4th themed. This was a pattern called Boxed In, and it was from Polar Fabrics. And it's a deal where they have a 5 1-yard kits bundle of fabrics, and then you could pick out from a few different pattern options. I think there's like 5 or 6. This was the pattern I picked out, and this is how I did it. Now it is quilted with a Stars and Stripe Forever pantograph, and it is 50 by 66. And let's look at the back. And there's a look at the red polka dot backing with my label. And the pantograph does have the word Stars, Stripes, Forever with some stars on it. And this is number 9. And this was a sew-along that I did with Fat Quarter Shop. And it used the Lori Holt's vintage Christmas book where they took different blocks out and made this. Now I will say one of my colors that I use kind of blends a little bit in the background, especially on camera. It's a little bit more noticeable in person. I did quilt this with a dragonfly pantograph, and this is 70 by 70. Let's look at the back. And there's a look at the backing. You can kind of see those dragonflies sticking out there. The backing is darker than the front. Okay, and the last one. And this is my Jelly Roll Race quilt. It is 61 by 79. It was quilted with that Whipsy pantograph, and it has a batik backing on it. And there's a little look at the back, and the label's there in the corner. So let me know in the comments down below if you see a quilt that you like. And if you'd like a chance to be in my drawing, you'll have to watch the weekly update 65, which will come out this Sunday, which I think is May the 26th, I believe. And to find out how to enter, I will be giving one quilt away, but the winner will have their choice of whichever one they want from 4 through 10. And I could possibly be giving more away in the future. All right, till next time. Bye.